Good afternoon, everyone. May I please request the chief guest and the guest of honors? We have with us today Mr. Vikrant Rai, a distinguished maritime professional currently serving as Principal Officer cum Joint Director, General Technical, Mercantile Marine Department, Kolkata. Under the Directorate General of Shipping, Government of India, with over 3 decades of experience in marine engineering, ship surveying, and maritime administration. He has played a pivotal role in advancing ship safety, regulatory compliance, and technical standards in Indian waters. He began his career as a marine engineer and ship surveyor, gaining extensive hands-on experience in both seagoing operations and class surveying with Lloyd's Register before moving into senior regulatory role with the Directorate General of Shipping in posts spanning Mumbai and Kolkata. He has held key responsibilities in technical regulatory oversight, IMO-related work, and national maritime policy, including active participation in MEPC sessions and IMO Net Zero framework discussions. A Bachelor in Naval Architecture and Marine Engineering, an ex-DMETian who passed out in 1992, and an MBA in International Business from the Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, New Delhi. Mr. Rai combines deep technical expertise with strategic management and policy understanding. Currently, at the fag end of an illustrious career, he is committed to disseminating his rich experience on complex maritime regulatory topics such as the definition of oil across conventions to the wider maritime community and younger professionals. It is an honor to have you amongst us today, sir. We have amongst us the director of IMU, Rear Admiral Retired, Mr. Amit Bose. Mr. Amit Bose studied in Kendriya Vidyalaya in various states. Rear Admiral is a BTech in Electrical and Electronics from Jawaharlal Nehru Technological Institute, Anantapur. He joined Indian Navy in 1986. Later, he completed his MTech Computer Science from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Rear Admiral Bose received his training on towed array sonars in France. He served on board INS Vikrant aircraft carrier, Ganga and Tamal brigades. Rear Admiral Bose headed the electrical, electronics, weapons, sensors, and IT components of ships and submarines of Indian Navy, both from dry docks and naval headquarters. He commanded a missile base and naval dockyard at Visakhapatnam. Rear Admiral Bose joined IMU Chennai in July 2023 and moved to IMU KC in August 2024. It is an honor, sir, to have you amongst us this afternoon. We have amongst us Professor Biswajit Ghosh. Professor Ghosh, a distinguished academic and a globally recognized pioneer in solar energy research. With an MSc in physics from IIT Kharagpur and a PhD in optoelectronic materials and devices from Jadavpur University, he later earned a doctorate in engineering and doctorate science in engineering, that is, Doctor of Science in Engineering, in innovation of new electrical contacting technologies to semiconducting devices from the same institution. Professor Ghosh has been engaged in solar photovoltaic research since 1978, during which he discovered the electrokinetic effect in photovoltaic power plants, a breakthrough with significant implications for agrivoltaic applications and dual-use land for energy and agriculture. He has designed, developed, and implemented MW-level photovoltaic and gasifier-based power plants in India and abroad, contributing directly to the real-world deployment of renewable energy systems. His international experience includes postdoctoral and visiting research at Stuttgart University, Germany, Northumbria University and Newcastle University, UK, Imperial College London, and the University of Surrey, where he was also a Royal Society overseas scientist. He served as a Liverhome visiting professor and visiting professor of Newcastle University and was advisor on energy and climate change to the United Nations Industrial Development Organization between 2010 and 2012. In academia, Professor Ghosh has been professor of energy, science, and technology at Jadavpur University since 1998, earlier serving as a reader from 1988 and as a researcher from 1978. He has supervised 35 PhD theses, published under 100 research papers, authored 2 books and several book chapters, and holds 12 patents in clean energy and solar technologies. In recognition of his contribution, the International Solar Energy Society, ISES, identified him as one of the pioneer solar researchers of the world, and he has received multiple awards, including the Shiksha Ratna Outstanding Teacher Award from the Government of West Bengal and a DSC Honoris Causa from NIT Agartala. From 1988 to 2025, he combined teaching, research, and outreach with leadership roles such as a Dean of Engineering Sciences and most recently, Vice Chancellor and Professor of Energy Engineering at the New India University, Kolkata, where he continues to drive academic innovation, international collaboration, and translation of energy research knowledge into sustainable practice. Please welcome Professor Banerjee. So we will light the ceremonial lamp. Yes, sir. We'll have a lighting of the ceremonial lamps now. The gun. Is there a lock? Yeah.
गणनायकाय गणदैवताय गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि.
Now we will all stand up for a minute for the departed souls. Thank you all. I will request the chairman, Institute of Marine Engineers, India, Kolkata branch, to give his welcome speech. Thanks.
Mr. Vikrant Rai, Principal Officer, MMD Kolkata. Rear Admiral Amit Bose, sir, Campus Director, IMEI Kolkata Campus. Professor Dr. B. Ghosh, ex-Vice Chancellor, New India University. Distinguished panelists, guests, cadets, members of the Institute of Marine Engineers, ladies, all of you, I wish all of you a very good afternoon. And I welcome you to this panel discussion session of IMEI Kolkata branch. IMEI Kolkata branch always try to promote professional expertise in their job. This year, I don't remember whether this was done earlier or not, but this year we decided that we will hold some panel discussions to address various problems, because no problem can be solved by a single person. It has to be a joint effort. When I joined this college in 1971, this building was not here. There are only two buildings. And I did not know what to be learned, but I had a big dream that I thought that I'll be doing a lot of drawings. The moment I come, I'll go to the classroom and start doing big things, dreams. And first thing I was sent to the workshop to clean the floor plates. Okay, I was very much disheartened. But afterwards I found that that is a job we all have to do. Okay, we can do research, but ultimately if we cannot run the ship, then no research will help us. Okay, the main thing is that we have to perform with our hands. 1949, after independence, the government of India failed. In fact, they failed before already. They failed on that 1919, 5th April, when the first Indian ship sailed. That time, that ship had only British officers. And slowly we became independent. Our leaders, they thought that who will man our ship, Indian ships? We cannot depend on Britishers anymore. So we have to have nautical officers, we have to have marine engineers. So for nautical officers, in 1927, P.S. Dufferin was started. Training was going on there. Engineering training was going on there from 1935. And then it was found that it has to be shore-based. Engineering training has to be shore-based. That's why in 1949, in Kolkata, the Directorate of Engineering Training was set up. That time, the main aim, or rather to say only aim, was to man or operate and maintain our vessels, Indian vessels. We were not dreaming of building ships, be self-sufficient on building ships. So that was the main objective. So that is how we were trained. But slowly the things changed. Now we are one of the leading countries in the world. We are showing the world that how to solve various problems. The government of India current government of India has taken a plan that we'll start shipbuilding and so many things. It's required. So in 2008, sometimes in 2005, no, not 2005, 1992, Amit was formed, and they recommended that universities to be set up. And that is how the university was set up. And slowly, complete education and training scenario has changed. But how has it changed? Has it served our purpose? So there are various opinions. Yes, we are doing well. No, we are not doing well. So that is the purpose that we are having this session today, panel discussion. We'll discuss the problems we have, and we'll try to find out some way or some views how we can solve the problem. So with these few words, I welcome all of you for this panel discussion session. And we have panelists here. They will discuss the problem, various issues. And then finally, we'll take some resolution, short of three. That is what we should do. We have our Vice Chancellor, campus directors, okay, teachers are here. So we'll try to find out some way. Okay. Thanks all of you. You all are busy persons. You have a lot of important works. But you have given this thing importance that is very important for us. We, instead of marine engineers, we are trying to promote the professional skill and help the growth of marine engineering training, education, and you are with us. Thanks for that. With these few words, I welcome all of you. Thank you.
Once again, I welcome you all to the Institute of Marine Engineers India Kolkata branch panel discussion on marine engineering education and training, current status and needs of the industry. It is my honor to serve as your Master of Ceremonies for today's event at the Indian Maritime University, Kolkata campus. We are privileged to have with us an esteemed gathering of veterans, academicians, regulators, and industry leaders who together shape the future of marine engineering in our country. This afternoon's program will examine the present state of education and training, identify gaps, and discuss practical steps that industry, institutions, and regulators can take to align skill sets with the demands of modern shipping and offshore operations. Before we begin the panel proper, I will briefly introduce the session and outline the format. Each panelist will speak for approximately 12 to 15 minutes, followed by an open floor discussion and questions from the audience. Our moderator, Mr. S.K. Sarkar, will then guide the discussion and take questions after the panelists have already spoken. Following the moderator's opening, our distinguished panelists will present their views in the following order. Mr. Amitava Banerjee, Mr. Debayan Ghosh, Mr. Asit K. Banerjee, Mr. Tamal Mukherjee, and Mr. Eswara Arun Kishore. After their deliberations, we will open the floor for discussion. Please hold your questions until the open session, and when called upon, kindly state your name and organization before asking your question. I request everyone to kindly ensure mobile phones are on silent mode and to observe decorum during the presentations. We look forward to a focused and constructive discussion that will produce actionable ideas for improving marine engineering education and training in line with the industry needs. Thank you. I now invite Chairman IMEI Kolkata and moderator of today's event, Mr. S.K. Sarkar, to the podium for his address about moderation.
Good afternoon again. You must excuse me if there is some repetitions. Organized training in marine engineering was started in India for first time at Kolkata in the year 1949 at Directorate of Marine Engineering Training, DMET. Performance of DMET was appreciated internationally by the shipping companies due to high quality of service rendered by ex-cadets of DMET. Due to fast growth of shipping industry, demand for marine engineers, nautical officers, naval architects, shipbuilders, electrical engineers, IT experts, class and flag surveyors, port operators started shooting up. On demand of the developed countries, IMO introduced STCW 78 to ensure uniform quality of training and certification of seafarers. In 1995, STCW convention was enforced and became mandatory in all member states of IMO. After the introduction of STCW 95, many private training institutes and universities have started providing education and training in the field of marine engineering and nautical science. The main objectives of these institutions is to prepare the young generation for operation and maintenance of ships. As per demand of the society, many of these institutions conduct degree course with an objective to prepare the students for higher education and research work. In the year 2008, the Government of India has established Indian Maritime University having multiple objectives. Main purpose of forming IMU was to promote higher education and research in the field of marine engineering, including ocean engineering, maritime science, etc. In addition to training activities of marine engineering and nautical officers, marine engineers and nautical officers. About 30 years have passed after implementation of STS 95, and about 20 years have passed after formation of Indian Maritime University. The shipping industry has diverse views about the performance of these institutions regarding providing marine engineering training and education. Reports of the university and Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways includes various developments in shipping industry. But students, employers, ship managers, shipbuilders, etc. encounter tremendous difficulties for operation of their activities. In view of the above, we Institute of Marine Engineers, India, would like to hear about the probable path for solution of these problems. We will look for answers of these questions. Policy of education and training of marine engineers. We are following correct path for education and training of marine engineers, so that are we following correct path for education and training of marine engineers so that they can satisfy diverse requirements of the industry? What should be the objectives of education and training so that both requirements of development of shipbuilding and ship operation can be satisfied? We would like to hear about this, hear the views of Shri Amitava Banerjee, ex-Chief Surveyor with Government of India in this respect. So, we request Mr. Amitava Banerjee to please come on the dais and deliver his speech. I just introduced.
Okay. Mr. Amitava Banerjee is an alumnus of the erstwhile DMET, presently the Indian Maritime University, ended his career at sea after having served on board a wide variety of vessels with a brief period as a chief engineer. Okay. Mr. Banerjee says that nothing more to be said, and he would like to start the panel discussion without any further introduction. Mr. Banerjee, please.
Thank you, Singh Sahab. Mr. S.K. Sarkar, my very revered third year, Chairman IMEI Kolkata, Mr. Vikrant Rai, Principal Officer MMD Kolkata, Rear Admiral Amit Bose, Director Mary, Professor Bishwajit Ghosh, ex-VC Neotia University, Mr. A.K. Singh. He does the thankless job of introducing everybody. Nobody remembers him. So, thank you, Mr. Singh. A very distinguished senior people and my very dear cadets at the back. Don't worry, you are the most important people for this gathering. A very good afternoon to all of you. My deep felicitations to the IMEI Kolkata branch, headed by Mr. S.K. Sarkar as the chairman, for arranging this panel discussion. Now, he was kind enough, early morning, 2 o'clock, when I got up, with an enlarged prostate. You know why I get up? So, I saw one of his, he has sent a concept paper. And in that I saw that he has posed a question to me. And that question is slightly unkind. He says, I have to comment on the policy and objectives regarding the current status and the needs of the industry. Now, I passed out many years ago. My active profession with the government of India also ended almost 12 years ago. So basically, I'm a fossil. So the current status, I think there'll be others who will be able to throw more light into that. And regarding the industry needs, even that also we have got people like Mr. Asit Banerjee and Mr. Arun Kumar Eswara, Mr. Tamal Mukherjee, and very importantly, the sailing chief engineer, Mr. Debayan Ghosh. So there also, I don't think I'll be doing justice. Trying to spend time on issues which I've been asked to speak on. But nevertheless, whatever be it, the dinosaurs are required by geologists, and people like me are required, for these kind of august gatherings. So I'll make a very humble effort to speak on the problems which plague, despite the best of intentions, as to what is the stumbling block in getting what we need to get or what we desire to get. Now, let me tell you very clearly, the problems are insoluble, they are insuperable, as bad as the approach road to the P19 Taratala, which after 46 years remains the same. I passed out in 1977. Those days also it was just as bad. Today my driver was saying, "Where have you brought us?" So the problems regarding maritime education and training are no better. In spite of the fact that the government of India did whatever best possible, as Mr. Sarkar has rightly pointed out, after the two illustrious institutions like TMET, now IMU, and T.S. Rajendra, in 1998, Parliament Street thought that it is better to open out maritime training. And obviously the flogging horse is Directorate General of Shipping, so something they had to do. So those days, the very pragmatic DG, Mr. Michael Pinto, he opened out maritime training. And nobody really knew that DG Shipping is not an academic institution. Nobody really did not know how to govern the institutes. Okay, we had to produce seafarers, but how to govern them? So off the cuff, they decided we'll have academic councils, divide the whole country into 4 parts, and the PO of the MMD will be heading the academic councils. Now, PO is basically a marine engineer or a master mariner. His Saraswati ends with MEO class 1 or extra first class at the most. So how does he govern the maritime training institutes? So we did our own research work. I think one Captain Subramaniam used to be there, principal of LBS those days. So I was instructed, you please sit with him and you make the do's and don'ts. So I think we sat for about 2-3 days and we decided this is what should be done, this is what not should be done. Now how to govern the institutes? So the academic councils consisted of the surveyors of mercantile marine departments and external experts of the maritime industry. Now the external experts of the maritime industry, they are not going to give priority to the government of India work. They will never say no, but they have their own ways of avoiding. So after 3 telephone calls, sir, today I'm busy, tomorrow I'm unwell, day after tomorrow is my daughter's marriage. So finally they will say, okay, I'll come. And then at the end of the day, he will say, I can only stay for half a day. After that, I've got something else to do. So he'll come back. So ultimately, everything boils down to the MMD surveyor. And MMD surveyors, they are all bad people. The higher you get, the worse you get. The chief surveyor and nautical advisor, they are the worst of the lot. The MMD surveyor, what he does, poor chap, he has to submit a report. Now, whatever report he submits, that is bad. So he is not doing a proper job. He is not acting as a facilitator. He is acting as a regulator. I went to an institute where they said, this is an institute. What is the institute? We see somebody cutting the grass. We have to certify now. So I told the DG that nothing is there, no infrastructure is there. So he said, doesn't matter, you have to encourage them. Otherwise, he'll go and open a institute in Singapore. So I said, okay, we'll certify he's cutting grass. No, don't write he's cutting grass. You have to write something. So we wrote something to incentivize the guy. After some time, complaints started coming that internal people, they are doing all, Calcutta is favoring Calcutta, Bombay is favoring Bombay. So what we started doing is let Bombay people go to Calcutta, Calcutta comes to Chennai, Chennai comes to Bombay. When you started doing that, now who is going to pay for the traveling allowance of the external people? That became a major question mark. So DG said, oh, let them manage on their own. Yeah, DG shipping is MMDs are very famous for bullying. Nobody could talk back. So we told them, you go ahead, you fend for your own hotel and travel expense. So they very grudgingly agreed. Either he has a ship or he has an institute, something is there to grind. So he agreed. But that also did not work out properly. In the meantime, so many years passed. And then suddenly we were saddled with the audit of the European Union in 2013. Correct, 2013 European Union, who are engaging a lot of Indian officers. So they came for audit. As luck would have it, I was asked to defend the audit. And after 1.5 days, they said, this is what is happening. As per STCW, you are supposed to monitor the training institutes. You have not been doing it properly. I think you're supposed to do it as per your own system. You're supposed to do it once in a year. And here we see last 2.5 years, some people have not visited the institute. So again, we discuss what is to be done. There is shortage of manpower. Not that the surveyors are idling. They are working almost 12 to 14 hours every day. So there was a genuine shortage of manpower, which continues even till today. So what is the way out? So we thought, let us give it to the classification societies. They will be doing the inspections on our behalf. We called it the concentrated inspection program. The moment we did that with all good faith, everybody agreed. First of all, each RO started charging what they felt was correct. So again, we had to intervene and say that you can't exceed this. That they finally agreed. But then, within 2-3 years, it became a game of who can give more A+ to an institute, for obvious reasons. So whether you had 8 deficiencies or no deficiencies or 100 deficiencies, you were getting an A+. So that also was a non-starter. Now this is the way maritime training continued. And except for some of the eminent ones, which we all know which they are, there was a lot of chaos. Whenever there was enough evidence to show that an institute was not performing properly, action has invariably been taken by the directorate. Whatever people might think, it is not correct. Action was taken and it was swift and it was decisive. So that was training. Now comes, you have trained the guy. So once I came to the helm in the engineering branch in the DG shipping, I thought that let us do some monitoring of which institute is faring how. The input-based monitoring was obviously getting defeated. So we thought let us have output-based monitoring. So you see there is a fund in the directorate, which Mr. Vikrant Rai must be knowing, in the MMERT fund. DG readily said you can give it to the Institute of Marine Engineers, and we gave them a project that post-C and pre-C institutes, we will find out, they will gather information from the MMDs, how many candidates they are training, what is going to be their passing rate, after how many attempts they were passing. So the pre-C and the post-C, there will be a trail, and on that basis, we will come to a conclusion based on a weighted average system that Institute X, so-and-so candidate passed out, he required 3 attempts, Institute Y required only 1 attempt. So therefore, without any doubt, we could classify who is doing a proper job. But then the institutes had their own problem. They are not getting proper faculty. They have invested so much of money. So there were a lot of cross currents all around. And Directorate being a government body in a constitutional democracy like ours, you cannot be just say, this is 3 into 2 is 6, since 3 into 2 is 5, we'll disqualify you. It doesn't happen that way. So we had to think in so many terms that let us give them some time, let us put some pressure. In that way, whatever happened, little bit improvement was there. But certainly, as we stand today on the 16th of May 2026, things are not hunky-dory. What we see during the examinations, it's a very funny way we get the reaction from them. I won't say bad or good. It has happened so many times. A candidate we have asked at the second engineer's level, what is the percentage of carbon in steel? He says 50%. And this is nothing new. Just 2-3 months ago, I developed the guts and I asked him, what is SCADA? So he said, SCADA, what is SCADA? I've never heard of it. I think you've not even heard of SCADA. Without that, the entire systems will fail. Wherever there is AI driven or digitalization going so strong. He said, sir, I've heard of Skoda cars, but SCADA I have not heard of. So I said, it is better to stay away from all this. And then, to cut the long story short, I'm sure all examiners will agree with it. It is quite, there are genuine problems. I'm not saying institutions don't have problems. There are genuine problems, but certainly this is not going to do if we have to stay relevant in the international maritime field. Mr. Sarkar asked a very pertinent question. What is the policy? I was a bit surprised. Policy to come suna nahi kabhi hum. In fact, the first time the IMO came for the III audit of the Government of India, that was a voluntary audit, thankfully. So they pointed out, and there I was defending on behalf of DG Shipping. They said, Mr. Banerjee, what is the policy of the Government of India? And I did not hear what is the policy of the Government of India. So we started looking for policy. So I spoke to people, DG and Ministry and all these people. They said, policy to kuch hai nahi hum logon ka. To do something, otherwise it will give you a major non-conformity. It was voluntary basis, so no statutory action would have been taken. But then, so when Mr. Sarkar wrote this, 2 o'clock in the morning, I started wondering, where is the policy now? So then I started looking, where is the policy? I didn't find any. But yes, there was a India Maritime Vision 2030. This is exceptionally good. Each point is extremely relevant. And in fact, each point affects the country's GDP, which matters most, developing country like India. So 100% it is true that everybody is working on it. But if we look for a real policy document, it is difficult to find one. Coming back to maritime training, we all know what is going to happen in the next 10 years. It is going to be autonomous ships. It is going to be AI driven. And there is a big confusion that if AI comes, one we can do away with core engineering, which is not correct. AI is only an applicable tool, whatever little I understand. AI and ML both. Your core engineering has to be done. That is your thermodynamics, your vibrations, your heat transfer, whatever, electromagnetism, power electronics, all this has to be catered to. You have no option, and it has to be done theoretically. The days of taking pride in the fact that I finished off a liner in 10 hours, weather was rough, and yet I finished it off, and then we made port in exactly proper time without losing cargo time, those days are gone. You will need to know your core engineering. Then you will need to know the basics of AI, little bit of computer science, certain amount of system integration, very important. All these systems have to be integrated, otherwise you cannot draw conclusions. Internet of Things, digital twins. Unless you have digital twins, if you have a clear understanding of digital twins, you will not understand how the engine is performing, how the pumps are performing. Their virtual reality has to come. They will have to be updated. That will be transferred by sensors back to the decision makers. And then you can do your predictive maintenance. So these are absolutely imperative. If we think we don't have faculty, if we think that we cannot train the people, then you fall behind. You think of your old tablet clearance days. Rank is check kar liya, train is okay, we lifted, decarbonization, and we are happy. It is not doing. EXI, the green shipping, your CII, all this is breathing down your neck, and you will have to do that by monitoring it by the hour. That monitoring is possible only if you have a clear understanding of your core subjects. Otherwise, you will not be realized. Very basics of Python, the very basics of MATLAB, the very basics of C++. Nobody wants you to details. As a marine engineer, you will need all the basics that you are able to grasp and you are able to analyze, give a feedback so that runs properly as required by the statutes. And AI is not going to help you during post-it. AI is not going to help you during the ISM bits, whatever you have to face. AI will give some reports. For example, they will say engine is running less than 2.5% power required. You will have to analyze with your core competence why it is happening 2.5% or 4.5%. That analysis is possible only if you have your basics. That's the examination system. Again, I'm outdated. Things might have improved over the years. Now, this is one unique examination system where you have to check the answer scripts, take the orals, and declare the results every month. You've given some respite in the month of May. That is why Mr. Vikrant Rai is able to sit today. Other than month of May, you are always on your haunches. Very few people appreciate. Why does it not happen? Why? So when I was in the chair those days, again we were running short of examiners. So I approached my dear professors in this mandir of ours. 4 or 5 of them came to our rescue, very senior people. Written papers we gave them, they said, I'll take 3 months. I said, sir, this has to be declared next month. Where do we have the time? They were senior people, I can't challenge them. They have taught us, my bread and butter is dependent on them. Then we taught of orals. The orals is required as per SPP. You're supposed to have ISO 9000 quality system. According to that, you're supposed to train the oral examiners. Now, moment I told one senior examiner who taught me that you have to be trained, he said, what training? I trained you, you're going to train me now? I said, sir, don't worry, you just come sit, have a cup of, I will write your training. No, I can't do it. It did not work out. But your results have to be declared every month. How you do it, your headache. Otherwise, Parliament Street is going to finish you. Your transfer, your promotion, your what have you, everything is on the top. 2 faces of. So I'm sorry, Mr. Sarkar, I cannot say anything more than this. These were the difficulties I faced. That was of course 11 years ago. I'm sure things have improved now. And with so many challenges coming for the marine engineer, you will have to know your soft skills. You will have to know your AI. You have to know your core competence. And I mean, endless. You have to know your legality. I am convinced they are multiplying by the day. And if you don't know, you won't even know how to defend yourself. See what has happened in this Dali case. A criminal. I think nobody else is at fault. Who defends the person? The statute. How do you defend yourself? I am from a foreign country. I can assure. You are ultimately left at the mercy of a lawyer to defend your case as the last case in his priority list. Can't be. What are we doing about it? They are our seafarers. We have given them a CD. They are our passport holders. You ask them questions, they are unable to defend. They have said that vast syllabus is vast, so what to do? Which is true. The syllabus has to be done up. Now that you are going to add this entire gamut of AI requirements, all that you are doing is, keep pounding the ball. What about taking out certain things? Who does it? The chief examiner. If he spends 14 hours in the DG shipping, 10 hours are spent by him. People lower down. Somebody is in Port Blair, somebody is in Vizag. Who does it? If it is concerned, are concerned, but they have to take action. That is when they sit back. I'm a marine engineer. I've got my MEO class 1. Now I will sail out at sea. I will make my dollars, buy 3 mansions, buy 4 cars, look after my family, and then come and attend these kind of seminars and clap at the back. This is what we have got to give back to society. It has given us so much. So unless we ourselves look after this fraternity, please remember, no passing cloud is going to stand by us. Everybody else is a passing cloud. We are only the permanent people around. We have to look after ourselves, and that cannot be the government servant. As it is, he is working 14 hours in a day. It has to be the industry. And the unfortunate part is the industry, my institute, my ship, my exemption. I've got so and so link up with so and so person. This is how the industry operates. So basically, maritime training and education. We are getting something from the IMO. We are abiding by STCW. But as an industry, we have failed terribly. And that is the only place where we can look forward to for supper. Thank you very much, gentlemen. My deep felicitations and wish you all the best.
Else have has taken time off And because of her, Mr. Carr is also here with us because they don't go anywhere without each other, as far as I have seen. So I would like a bouquet to be presented to her for her gracious present in this particular occasion. And no, no, let her be there. Don't trouble. Give the flower bouquet over there. Our second panelist for this particular afternoon is Mr. Debayan Ghosh. Mr. Debayan Ghosh completed the pre-sea training, Marine Engineering from Marine Engineering Research Institute, Kolkata in 2008 and passed out with a Director's Gold Medal. Mr. Ghosh started sailing career with Mitsui OSK Lines and served in various types of bulk carriers and tankers. Mr. Ghosh is sailing as a chief engineer on tankers and Castle Ships Private Limited since 2021. Mr. Ghosh has been involved in post-sea training as visiting faculty in SEI Educational Trust since 2023. Please welcome Mr. Debayan Ghosh.
As I told you, that no problem can be solved alone. We have 5 panelists. Mr. Ghosh is one of them. Our main problem is at the workplace, whether it is at sea or at shore. Problem is there only. There only will problem. So Mr. Ghosh is a sailing chief engineer. He is knowing how well we are training our boys and how are they performing. We would like to hear the opinion of chief engineer, Mr. Ghosh, about the problems or advantages. There may be problems being experienced by him on board. What are his views about the quality of service from new generation of engineers? Is he satisfied with the services provided by new generation of engineers? Are there any need for improved training? If yes, what improvements are expected by him? So we would like to hear this thing from Mr. Debayan Ghosh. Here is from this 2008.
Thank you, sir, for the gracious introduction. Okay. Good afternoon, distinguished guests. Mr. Vikrant Rai, PO MMD. Mr. Bishajit Ghosh, ex-Vice Chancellor, Neotia University. Rear Admiral Amit Bose, Director in IMEI, fellow engineers, and dear cadets. We stand at a unique crossroad where the fundamental laws of thermodynamics haven't changed. The environment in which we apply them is transforming at a rate unseen before, since the transition from sails to steamship and motor. To define the role of a marine engineer, he maintains the engine room, which is the heart of a ship. Today, when over 90% of global trade is done through ships, a marine engineer becomes more and more important. The engine rooms we operate are no longer just mechanical, they are digital, green, and increasingly autonomous. Our current education and training system are the foundation, but to remain seaworthy in 2026 and beyond is a challenge we all need to keep addressing. The global standard of our training remains anchored to the STCW Convention, ensuring a baseline for safety and technical competence. Institutes like Indian Maritime University and various global academies continue to produce highly skilled officers through BTech and graduate programs. India, for instance, remains a global powerhouse in manning, with our 130 approved training institutes supplying a significant portion of the world's seafaring workforce. As a seafarer since 2007, I have seen a large number of trainee marine engineers coming from various institutes across the globe. What I can be proud about is that Indian trained seafarers are not lagging behind in any aspect. Nevertheless, if we want to discuss and improve, we have to identify the scope of improvement and then find the practical solutions to the same. The trainings we are talking about is mainly for the job which we are expected to perform on ship. These expectations change from rank to rank and from ship to ship depending on the company we are working in or the type of ship that we are working. At higher ranks, we perform jobs that are mainly management related, machinery related, and paperwork related, which can be for record keeping or for performance monitoring. But at lower ranks, the work falls in the similar field, but more stress is on the maintenance part. All these three aspects which I talked about are already identified and included in our curriculum training. The training of management is already being given during pre-C courses and competency courses. We can agree that this generation of seafarers are quite well versed in computers. What we can include as far as computer training is concerned is an in-depth training in programming in MS Office, which is very widely used in ships for performance of paperwork, for calculating formulas which we require to calculate the consumption of fuel, etc. All companies use various softwares for their PMS and record keeping. Navigating individual softwares is shown during company training courses, but these softwares are vast and complex versions of the apps that we use on our phones regularly. What we can include in pre-C training is familiarization with and practice on a couple of such software so that the trainee marine engineers can identify the basic structure of each software and are able to relate between two such softwares easily when they switch to the shipping industry and work on a different software. Coming to the practical part of machinery maintenance, it has always been a challenge for all marine institutes as we cannot float a ship on campus and we cannot build a campus at sea. We have successfully integrated simulated based training, which allows cadets to experience high pressure engine room scenarios without leaving the shore, which is a great development. What we do on board is we learn the work of higher ranks at the lower rank by following our seniors. This learning is supported by the fundamental knowledge that we learned during our training. So the fundamentals and the core branches of engineering, which is already being taught in our institute, is still very important and relevant. And it is as important as the practical training, which we always keep talking about. Now, coming to the practical training, what we expect from any marine engineer is to be able to read and understand a manual, carry out the routine maintenance based on that, and overhaul a machinery. Fault finding is another aspect which requires practice. Most of these aspects we train by practice on board only. A marine engineer is expected to learn a large part of it during the 6 months as trainee marine. My perception in this regard is that given the overall work pressure in ships, any TME is able to learn the aspect which he is being given responsibility for. It often happens that certain machinery is never overhauled during his tenure. So when does he learn about it? When he becomes a fourth engineer. I have seen scenarios where a second engineer has never overhauled a main engine unit, and he is the in charge of chief engineer of the main engine. So because we have limited time on board, and what experience we gain on board depends on completely on luck and on the chance that what he is going to get. So what can we do about it? Now, in pre-sea training, we could add practical training regarding expectations from a marine engineer, at least up to the rank of fourth engineer, and surely the general expectations from a trainee marine. If all TME or engine trainings, even from in India, know the basic jobs like how to take ullage, how to take parameter reading, how to trace lines and transfer sludge or fuel, uh, how to isolate and clean a filter. All these will in turn create a great impression about Indian seafarers on the companies that are employing them. Before becoming a watchkeeping engineer, we can include a workshop training about overhaul of basic machineries like pumps, auxiliary engines, compressors, and purifiers. In smaller groups, some companies send their engineers for such training for a week or so. That is something we can consider in training. Now we understand that we can never learn to drive unless we take a car out on the road for ourselves. Being associated with training institutes as visiting faculty and with the IMU as part of alumni, I understand that letting one batch of TME to overhaul one globe valve individually will either require a large amount of time or a large amount of globe valves. So the challenge still remains the infrastructure along with the availability of faculty and willingness of the trainee to invest that much time. If we look beyond the basic and practical difficulties of training, the industry itself has been changing a lot. We are moving from simple heavy fuel oils to complex fuel flexible engines. Digitalization and AI is another development in all industries of the world. The modern engine room now is like a multi-storied factory of sensors. Engineers must now manage AI-driven predictive maintenance and real-time data analytics. Such ships become more connected as ships are becoming more and more connected with SATCOM. Cybersecurity is no longer an IT issue. It is a core operational safety requirement for marine. To summarize, a gap exists between theoretical knowledge and multidimensional practical competence required on modern ships. We need seafarers who can handle both spanner and AI as well. Lack of trainers is another challenge. Teaching as a profession is often unable to meet the aspirations and expectations of a capable young marine engineer who is willing to educate the next generation but also has a family to. While technical skills are strong, there is a lack of training in soft skills like leadership, communication, and problem solving under extreme pressure. Curriculum modernization may be required. We can integrate industrial softwares into pre-sea training. There can be an industry academia collaboration. Shipping companies must move beyond just sponsoring cadets. They must actively help design the curriculum to ensure it matches with the specific tech on their fleets. Donating ship equipments can be considered as companies already have a system of acquiring and transporting ship equipments which institute may not have. Modular digital training that engineers can access while at sea is a welcome development in post-sea training. Marine engineering education cannot stop at just certificate of competency. So to conclude, the industry demand for marine engineers is growing at approximately 12% every year, but the type of engineers needed has changed. Nevertheless, the basic remains equally important. So let us educate our cadets for the oceans of tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Ghosh, for that practical nuances that are failing us as far as the training is concerned. And things will be looked after in time. I call on to the next panelist, Mr. Asit Kumar Banerjee. And before asking him to come on stage, I'll just like to give you a brief introduction about him. Mr. Asit Banerjee completed his schooling at Sainik School, Purulia in 1970, pursued BSc Honours at Presidency College, Kolkata. Thereafter, Mr. Banerjee joined DMET Kolkata and graduated with first class in marine engineering in 1976. Mr. Banerjee started his sea career with the Shipping Corporation of India in 1976 and later switched to Anglo-Eastern Ship Management Limited, Hong Kong, and retired from sea services as chief engineer after 18 years. In 1994, Mr. Banerjee joined the shore management of Anglo-Eastern Management Limited at their head office in Hong Kong as superintendent and retired in 2019 as fleet director. During the 25 years in office, Mr. Banerjee nurtured and witnessed the growth of Anglo-Eastern Group from a mere 30 ships to a massive 650 plus ship fleet with great passion and dedication, including setting up from scratch their Antwerp branch in 2004 and heading it for almost 2 years till it settled down. Presently, Mr. Banerjee is serving as a consultant to Genco Shipping, New York, and the Genco Synergy Ship Management, Noida, since the last 3 years, conducting their cadet and PME induction program, recruitment of deck and engine senior officers, all of his appointments, and advising on technical and QHSE matters of the fleet. That has been an incredible and invaluable contribution to the marine industry in the last 50 years. Please welcome Mr. Asit Banerjee.
Good afternoon, Mr. Banerjee. Being one of the important employers of marine engineers, what are the difficulties you are finding to find competent marine? I don't have any. But I sometimes take examination of engineers. Sometimes I get disgusted, ask questions like asking questions. So he has sailed on ship, so he must have experience. When I ask him a question about a fuel injector or a starter or a compressor, he's an experienced engineer, so he must talk sense. It should not go that he heard sometime this is like that. So I think that is problem in, but he is better man to tell. May be satisfied with the performance, or if he's satisfied, he should tell us that yes, it's good, and you train them like this, we are happy. If he is not, then he should tell us, no, this is where you are lagging. So please do this thing. We want to hear from the Asit Kiran.
Good afternoon, one and all. With my due respect to our honored guests, Dr. Vikrant Rai, Admiral Vikrant Rai, and the Arun Sarkar, along with all my distinguished fellow panelists, I'd like to make a small presentation on the House. Very neat. I mean, he has already put me in a lane. I have to go through it. There could be a little bit here and there. I hope he will excuse me. Very neat. Basically, based on what he as a owner side, what we have to tailor syllabus, all that trade has to be tailored to the industry. You cannot just on different direction without realizing somebody waving his hand on the right. You can't walk this way without looking. That is the problem that we have. We are not probably not going in as much as we would like to. Hear me at the back? Hear me at the back? Do you need the phone? Microphone? Cadets over there. Can you hear? Okay, fine. So, before anything else, I would like to thank MEI for inviting me here. But I honestly feel, and I'm not sure if I can do justice, as I am no or any kind of a specialist. I'm merely an ex-ship manager, and now working in my retired life, trying to help out and organize. I'm not a specialist. I don't know if I qualify in lectures around. I've just pondered over what I have experienced as a seafarer for 18 years, then as ship manager for 25 years, and now as a consultant to a ship owner for about 4 years. Trying to piece together some points which I humbly placed before. But while they set up the thing, I'll put it. Right. So before I start with the presentation, I'd like to mention that we all have, not necessarily that I am correct and he is wrong, and everybody could be correct. And somewhere something has to be done. Not always by it has to be realized what is necessary and where we are. I know, put it on. So, Banerjee, year junior, 2 years. Now, government organization is tied up with the bureaucratic system or whatever it is, the thinking and how it works in the practical. To cope up with this is a very difficult task, and I can understand Rai over here must be wondering what is it trying to do. Difficulties. There are hurdles, but still we have to find a way. We cannot keep ourselves tunnel vision with the thinking that, oh, I'm going to produce Einsteins everywhere. You cannot. The bulk majority of students are average. We cannot have such high goals with very high fund theoretical studies, and then they can't, like he said, can't trying to go back. Doesn't know how to hold a spanner. That's not what is required in ships. Yes, in the manufacturing industry, the shipbuilding yards, in the design offices, you need people with brilliance. So our syllabus, custom, and we should have that thing in mind that after all, we are training maintenance engineers, not research engineers. Okay, we'll start with it and go along with stuff. So I have a little different view from probably many others, but this is what we are facing now. As Senior Ghosh explained, the problems he faces is a daily affair, and it's very frustrating. I can tell you that. Moving. Okay, I have a little word of appreciation for. Can you read? Maybe it's too small. At the very outset, I would like to express all faculty members of every training institute for their tireless effort and dedication in imparting their knowledge to the next generation. That is a sincere appreciation. No matter what we discuss over here, there is no denying the fact that they are doing their best. That we owe them that bit always. And here we are, not to question, but try to endeavor to augment whatever they are doing, help them do it better, show them what we need, and get the right output. So we can discuss a bit. In the present generation, I have been in touch with a couple of institutes. This one, your Chennai campus, HIMT, SUSAT in Cochin. I've been going around in trying to recruit new cadets. And then I get a sense that the young generation that is coming up, I am very positive about them. I see a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of bright fellows are coming up. Yes, they have, how do I put it? They are very energetic. They are eager to go on the ship and prove. That I can see, I can feel it, that they are there to prove themselves. But the problem lies elsewhere. I hate to mention this, having interviewed about 480 senior officers, the top 4 senior officers that we recruited in our company in the last 3.5 years. Masters, I do for Masters Chief Engineers also recruit, and I do their interviews. And though I'm not an expert in navigation, but I can definitely handle questions about ship handling, about how mooring is supposed to be done, how anchoring is supposed to be done, and all those kind of things, on deck work, anchor operations, crane operations, hatch cover operations. So those are related to engineering understanding of the system. So I have found that there is huge deficiency lying there. Huge deficiency. I can go on and on with it. So we have a problem with the senior officers. those who have their certification, they are on the board the ship, but there seems to be something lacking over there. I don't know what has happened, but to my judgment, there is the problem. And I am a little concerned that this young generation which is coming out now, when they go on board the ship, all their enthusiasm might die out because they don't have the right direction from the senior officers. That is what is my worry. That that gap is there. There's certain big crevice over there. And if they fall into that, we will lose them all. There is a generation which has not performed. Honestly, there is a generation which has not performed. And that is biting us today in the shipping. If I ask the chief engineer some basic questions, he doesn't have a clue of it. But he is a chief engineer, right? And I'm sorry to say that I had one experience about a few months ago. I still have his name, and I sent a query on. There's this guy who came in as a master's candidate. He was a master. So after asking a few questions to him during the interview, I was just wondering, where does his knowledge level lie? So I asked him some very basic questions. I just asked him, can you tell me what is the bulbous bow fitted on a ship for? What is the purpose of a bulbous bow? You know the answer he gave me, you will be shocked. I think these cadets know more than him. He is telling me that the bulbous bow protects the ship during a collision. That's his thinking. He is not holding, fortunately, and I was very much relieved that he is not holding an Indian COC. He is holding a UK COC, British COC. I sent a query on that to somebody whom I know. After a little bit of query, I found out, of course we didn't take him, that this guy had failed 5 times. On his 4th occasion, he failed. He was asked to go back and do sea time again. So he went back to sea for 1.5 years. He went back for research. And finally, they gave him a license. So that is not the way certificates should be given out. It is a certificate of competency. If the person is not competent, he doesn't get it. Maybe a whole lifetime he will never get it. Attempting 5 times and finally, okay, enough. We have seen enough of you long. This guy comes in with his certificate. Unless you check on that, and fortunately, I always feel that the standards that we have maintained for over 50 years, or maybe 70 years, in India are much better than what people think about certificates. I've seen it with Singapore certificates also. So we have this notion that, oh, that is better. UK will be a more valuable certificate. Same thing with all other fields of education. You have to think over. Okay, enough of talk. Okay. As I said, there still exists a generation of substandard mariners, both engine and tech, with stunning examples in scores, not just 1 or 2. I've interviewed people with What parameters would you be interested in your bunker analysis report? It's all confused. So what is he going to do? He doesn't understand. Sir, the instructions are given in the analysis report. I will do according to the instruction. So he doesn't have a mind of his own. See the parameters and understand what that fuel is, what problems he can face, what he. You need to think even beyond that. The problem is that we come to it. The advent of new lucrative, that is one reason. You've got short jobs which are far more lucrative and better paying. So nobody wants to go out to sea. This was not the case, at least in my days, 50 years ago. This was the most prized profession, a lot of money, adventure, go abroad, all kinds of things were there, attractions were there. But that is fading out. That is causing a problem. You have acute shortage of laborers in the past. This is the time when promotions were quick time, double time. People jumped ranks. They didn't have the experience, they become second engineers. Straight from fourth engineer to second engineer. They jump one rank, no experience. Then they don't know what to do. Now they can't teach the juniors because they have never learnt it themselves. They got it on a platter. They jump without the necessary experience. That practical experience is so very vital to give you confidence, to work on difficult ships time and again, and that gives you a confidence for a lifetime. So when there was shortage, every company wanted people, okay, promotion, luring people like giving biscuits. Then there is uncontrolled proliferation of private training institutes which took advantage for profiting. This was a big problem which Mr. Amitava Banerjee had. First of all, this was another problem. So these kind of things have led to that generation which is still there on board the ship, and they are the senior lot. And we are facing problems because they don't know the basics. They haven't learned the basics. They just jumped. This is causing a lot of problems. Now we have to overcome this, and I'll give you what I think we can do. Effectively, there seems to be some shortfall in knowledge and consequently a dearth in transfer of professional knowledge or skill to the next generation. This is not happening because that senior level doesn't have it. That's the problem. I remember when I was on my first ship, on my first voyage, the second engineer, he told me, you go and overhaul that main air compressor. So I looked at him and I told him, sir, I have never done it before. And it was an 18-year or 20-year-old ship with no manuals available, some tattered pieces lying here and there. So I told him, I've never done it before. I'm willing to do it, but I've never done it. So I need a little guidance. He said, you go and start opening. You will learn yourself. Wherever you have a problem, apply your mind and then come to me. I will give you the directions, do it. Eventually I did it. I narrated another incident the last time I was held back. I was the fifth engineer, senior fifth engineer, about to sign off. After 22 months on a single ship, that same first ship of mine which taught me a lot and gave me a lot of confidence. I was supposed to sign off. My reliever was ready in office. I was in the office to confirm that my reliever is ready in Mumbai SCI office. And then I was leaving. Everything was arranged, and then I was leaving. One of the peons, he came and told me, "Sir, आपको बुलाता है." "अब कौन बुलाता है?" बोलता है, "सुपरटेंडेंट बुला रहा है." Street personnel superintendent called me. I went in there. When I approached his office, I found my chief engineer sitting over there. I thought that maybe the chief engineer has made some complaint about me and something is going wrong. Went inside. The chief engineer also came inside with me. And then the superintendent tells me, "Oh, you can't go on leave now." I said, "Why is that? I've done 22 months at a stretch. I can't concentrate anymore. I can feel it myself." He said, "No, he wants you to stay back for completing the machinery service, CSM service." So I was a little, I'm only an uncertified fifth engineer over here, and his chief engineer wanting me to stay here? What is it? Person, he has got a superior certificate holder, second engineer over there. He had a first class ticket. He himself is there. He has got two third engineers with second engineer license, and yet he wants a fifth engineer to stay back who is an uncertified to do class service. So I told him, "But why? You've got so many certified hands, everybody is more experienced. Why do you need me?" He said, "No, he wants you." I was in a dilemma because I was really tired of the sailing, so I wanted to go. I finished my time for my ticket. And he told me, "No, no, no, he wants you." So after some concern, I told him, "Okay, I'll stay back." We were in Bombay, then we were going to Chennai for a day or two and then coming to Calcutta. So I told him, "Okay, I'll do one condition." He said, "What?" I said, "I will take charge of whatever surveys have to be done. I'll be in charge. I don't want the second engineer, third engineer, fourth engineer, anybody to give directions in. If they want, they can participate under my direction. If they can't do the surveys, then they don't deserve that. They will work under me if that is acceptable, or they can stay away. I will take the two fitters or one fitter and the three oilers, and I'll do crosshead survey. I did the crosshead surveys, I did main bearing surveys, all as a fifth engineer. All as a fifth engineer. And that paid me when I went for my class one ticket. Mr. Arjit Singh was there. I don't know. Sarkar might remember of Arjit Singh, MMD. There may be many others over here, senior people who would know Mr. Arjit Singh. And he asked me, "How do you know the answer to this?" And I told him, "That is because I have seen it. Can't tell you. You're the only one who has ever answered this." So that is because of practical. So you have the drive here. When that kind of thing happens, I had the confidence of doing a crosset bearing, and in those days, crosset bearings were not as simple as what we. It's much easier working on crosset bearings today. So anyway, that I find that I don't expect miracles, but all we expect is people with at least the basics. If a chief engineer can't analyze, understand his field analysis, and he is confused between vanadium corrosion and sulfur corrosion, I find it a little unnerving. have positively overcome this to a large extent by bringing most institute under the ambit of IM2, but we prospection and positive evaluation where and how we can improve. The key issues gap between theoretical academic curriculum and the practical hands-on operational requirements on board. There seems to be a huge gap there. There seems to be, definitely there is a. Now that gap, like he has mentioned, I think somebody else mentioned earlier also about the gap. This is very important. We have about 100 training institutes today in operation. There's the shortage of appropriate faculty. Why that is happening? Lack of sufficient apprenticeship berths on board. Not every shipping company is providing cadet berths, which Admiral Bose will know. They want ready-made engineers, but they are not ready to spend on training. That's the problem with a lot of shipping companies. They don't want to spend on training. I know of a very large management outfit which has been employing a lot of people, and they are sending people to ships with ME engines, but no courses done, no ME engine training done. I mean, how they can take such risks, I don't understand. And the guy has done 6 ME engines. 6 ships he has served with ME engines. And I asked him, what type of pump is fitted on the HPS? He doesn't know. I said, didn't we ever think that I must myself, you're a chief with ME engine? You've got 6 ME engine. So he is immediately employed by another company for ME engine. The guy doesn't know anything. That has become a problem. That they don't want to spend money on training. So, shortfall in professional knowledge, skill on board for transfer, we have already. Then there is a new thing that is coming, which is a little different from this, is gender sensitization, because now shipping world is open for girl cadets, lady officers. We have been inducting girls for our ships. This year, I took in 48 cadets, 48 total, out of which 20 are girls. 28 boys, 20 are girls. And some of these girls are doing very well. I can tell you that. 2 of the girls have already finished their engine cadets, who have finished their certification, and they are back on. They're performing very well. So it's a new thing, and we have to cater to it. We have to understand that it is open for. We can't reverse it. There is no question of reverse. There is no question of old time belief, oh, this is a man's world and all that. No. If girls can fly fighter jets, they jolly well can work anywhere else. The gap between theoretical and academic, this thing we were discussing, I'll go into a little bit of suggestions. Realignment and customization of syllabus. We have to make our educational programs over here, syllabus over here, in accordance with the requirement. We cannot think, oh, I will go into higher and higher and higher levels, but I've forgotten my shoes there. with focus on practical aspects of shipboard operation. That's the most important thing. Introduction of two-tier courses. That is a thing that I have been thinking about. On the next side, they have a two-tier course. There is a diploma course and there is a degree course. Why can't we have it for engineering as well? We have had diploma, polytechnics for ages. We don't need the most brilliant people, and they are not the, because you are not getting that many brilliant people in shipping anymore. My suggestion, I'm not saying that this is the way, somebody has to think over. My suggestion is a diploma, 2 year in college and 1 year intensive training on board. This 1 year can be split up into 6 months, 6 months, 2 different types of ships, whatever it is, to give a little more variety. If that can be arranged for the seafarer. Bachelor degree of 3.5 years with this half year of onboard BTech Marine that we are going on with, that can continue. But additionally, if we provide a 2-year course with 1 year on board, the difference is they will learn much more of practical applied engineering, not books. It doesn't happen with. I don't know if I have missed out. Is there any book which tells you how to open a globe valve? Any book? Or how to box back a valve? No. There is no book. I don't know. Maybe people can say. Any book that tells you how to overhaul a gate valve? No. This is all by hand. You learn on the job. We used to get slapped on our head if we couldn't do a thing right. We learned in that. I'm not advocating. What I'm saying is there is practical training to be done, which you will never find in any book in the world telling you how to overhaul a gate valve, how to box back a valve. Even boxing back of a valve, there is a methodology of doing. If you do it wrong, you'll break the valve. So, diploma holders want to hire 1 year brush up course or whatever it is and get there. It is there in other engineering, it is there. In mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, everywhere there is a diploma course and a degree course. Not so many polytechnics today, but I think it's more vocational. BTech holders, they can continue with the shipboard service. They should be building industry, manufacturing industry, and the research locations of various manufacturers. They can use BTech Marine for that. And also a pre-qualification for higher studies, MTech, whatever they want to do, research work, fine. The best of the lot, the cream, will always gravitate there. They will go for that because they want to do higher studies. But the average lot should be allowed to come and something. Time. Now the 2-tier diploma course will go a little. On-board operation does not require depth of theoretical knowledge that is being imparted. There is too much of theoretical knowledge which is forced upon them as per syllabus. It's too much. They don't need that much of depth in theoretical knowledge. they need vocational training. Vocational. Practical application in maintenance is quite different from design or manufacturing. We study about this design, that design, and this and that. Okay, let's do it in a simpler way, more as a layman. Okay, this is for this is for this. That much is enough. That much background is good enough for a maintenance. Don't have to be PhD. Average student, the bulk of the requirement, not struggle so much in academics. Shipboard engineering is not so much of you don't need. Training module of 2 years in college and a full year on board will prove. The syllabus should besides the engineering fundamentals, include more on operational maintenance and troubleshooting aspects. Overall, for both diploma and degree courses, we could possibly reduce the focus on non-engineering subjects. I'm not sure, I'm not very listening about the full syllabus, but from some mark sheets that I have seen, I see some subjects which actually I felt that it is a little superfluous. It doesn't require to be there for a vocational engineer. Essence of Indian traditional knowledge. What will that guy do on board with that traditional knowledge? I don't know. I don't know what it contains. But from the name of it, I find it a little confusing. Constitution of India and Merchant Shipping Act. I'm going to become a lawyer. And pardon me, somebody was mentioning about it. They said, you think you can defend yourself even in a local court? That you are going to defend yourself in a national? Not that easy. You have to take a lawyer. There's no way a mariner can defend himself in an international court of law or any maritime arbitration thing. Statistics and data analysis using Python. Another one. I disagree with this overkill. Python is not required on. Come on. We need people with hands. We need people who can do maintenance, who know how to take a liner calibration. We have people who don't know how to take a liner calibration. They don't know how to detect leakages. So, what will you do with the application? The maintenance engineers, they are not design engineers. For a little same thing, suggestions, engage faculty members with higher professional acumen and good academic record. I know for myself, I have seen that. I don't want to qualify, but I would recommend that we look into their academic records as well. Improve wage scales to attract experienced professionals. Higher standards prescribed by DG, which all institutes, government or private, IMU or non-IMU, under independent individual. They should be having a common standard, very strong. What the other one? What audits to evaluate performance? Lack of sufficient apprenticeship on board vessels. There is a DGTB stipulation for the institutes that all the cadets must get placement, right? But I don't think there is any stipulation for shipping companies to create berths for them. I know people are struggling to find placement for the cadets. That is because all shipping companies are not participating in it. They are not creating berths for it. Genco shipping, We have got 72 cadets for a fleet of 45 ships. 72 cadet berths for 45 ships. That's at a ratio of 1.6. 1 is to 1. This year we have taken 48 cadets, including 20 girls. 21 are from this institute. Synergy Maritime, our JV partner, we also have mentors for each cadet. Shortfall in professional knowledge, skills, participate in senior fleet, especially on use of LSA and FFE. We don't see the senior officers even coming to participate in emergency drills. They don't. Then you tell them to start a lifeboat, they can't start a lifeboat. And you know that is a code 30. That's straightforward detention. If you can't wear an SCBA, can't start a rescue boat, can't start a lifeboat, it's a straightforward code 30. Very difficult to get away. Fast track the younger generation. That's my solution. Fast track them. So we need more in lumber from the younger generation to fill in that gap and get sorted. Then rank specific training assignments. This is already there, but must be made essential for promotion. Now what is happening is people are jumping the company just for promotions. One big company find they'll go there. Oh, I'm already a second. It has to be. And so we have also started roving just to impart more, guide them, also prepare them for emergency. Find a lot of them feel safety. The new norm. Girls. Sure. Also having synergy group 24/7 contact. All the cadets have contacts. They can call up any ship as psychologists, most likely can give them advice. I mean, maybe of them, the special cell for the mobile app, they are given on their phone. They used to complain directly from the mobile phone. So my point is, I may be a little backdated in my thoughts because after all, I've been in the industry very long. This year I'm completing in service with involvement with the has been. So with all that being, I don't want to discourage the new syllabus and of teaching like that. But can we give that option to parents and help the industry bringing the we need more people with practical experience, hands-on knowledge, because as I said, no book in this world teaches how to overhaul a gate. No book teaches you how to troubleshoot a build stuff. So these kind of things need practical. And the only way is on board, on board, on board. We are having a lot of issues. A few, we had a, they were overhauling a crane. That common sense does not, they are overhauling a crane, a jib crane. They had some problem with the winch, rear winch. The fellow has, what he has done is he has put some steel stoppers on the drum. He has not taken the weight of the thing on the hoisting. Normally, we would raise the block, take the weight of the jib, hoisting to hold that. We are working on the luffing. The fellow has out and the whole thing is gone. Fortunately, there were no. That is what is troubling. Lack of experience, lack of practical knowledge. So, talking about Python and AI and this and that. Applications are there, but don't apply AI on code as a maintenance. How many of you have seen AI being? AI is built in over there. The machine itself will. You don't have to learn AI. AI is what? It's the same search engine which is enhanced with logarithm. And that logarithm has been made by a human being. So it cannot be more experienced than your own brain. I hope I have not.
Thank you, Mr. Banerjee. Our next panelist, Mr. Tamal Mukherjee, passed out of GMET in 1986. He sailed with the Great Eastern Trading Company Limited, GESCO, as chief engineer until 1995. He was in MERI, Kolkata as a faculty member from 1995 to 1998. Mr. Mukherjee was technical superintendent of GESCO from 1998 to 2001. Thereafter, he served as an exclusive surveyor of Germanischer Lloyd GL and undergone new building and fleet in service surveys from 2001 till 2007 in India, Singapore, and China. Mr. Mukherjee started the company Retd Marine Services Private Limited in 2007 and has been involved in new building of containers, Panamax, bulk carriers, product chemical tankers in the shipyards of China and South Korea and India. Since 2011, Mr. Mukherjee has been involved in the new buildings of naval and coast guard vessels in the RSC. Mr. Mukherjee has also been a visiting faculty for the NEOTR University of Maritime Studies training since 2014. Please welcome Mr. Tamal Mukherjee.
As I told you at the beginning, that when we were under training here, we were being trained for maintaining ships. So we had to know about how to build ships, but that was not meant. Maintaining ships, operation of ships was mostly. But today our objective is to, India wants to be fifth shipbuilding country all over the world. We are far behind the target now. So how we can become fifth position, take fifth position in the world, become shipbuilding country. Now we have got the Tamal Mukherjee, who is involved in ship. So we request him to write how education and training can be modified so that students can go into research, develop shipbuilding and equipment.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. and a very good afternoon, respected guests of honor and respected director, and all the eminent personalities in the industry here, and dear cadets. Yes, I have been had to talk about only building. And today everybody knows there has been a great thrust from the government of building. We have not seen in our career before. And there are boundless opportunities. Not know how far we will in our lifetime, but definitely India has the potential to become or grow more than China. This is definitely a possibility, and it should encourage our young cadets here to take part in building also. Because for whatever reasons, running maintenance of ships are being monitored by sensors very well now. We are having cadets on board, and they are very, very important. Running maintenance is a very important part. And we have been all trained in running maintenance. And along with running maintenance, we have to understand that if the work is repetitive, that will slowly be taken by machines, whether we like it or not. So finally, ships will be running lifeless. Some of the advanced countries are already having one or two ships, like I know for sure. Norway is running one cargo ship without any people on board. Ships will be running lifeless. But then lives are very important, and lives are very precious, and we have to protect those lives, have the safety, have the practical. Till it happens, we are in a transition. Cannot say all that is not important. Machine learning is important. AI is very important. Have to know that how our boundaries are getting narrowed out inside the engine room, in doing running maintenance, in doing decision making. All these things are being narrowed out by our fleet operation, our safety management manual, all our regulations. So let us also focus eyes industry of the with three modules, very important. All them pillars also. One is the running maintenance, one is the design concept, another is the research development. Now these are all equally important, and in achieving specialization, not neglect one for right now. But as I have been assigned to talk about shipbuilding, I am associated with, and the biggest challenge in shipbuilding today is the lack of manpower. I'm telling you, there is a big shortage of manpower. What kind of manpower? Where it is characterized by a talent gap. Not find engineers really understand modern advanced designs, digital, when CAD. The modern CAD is not understood by many engineers. And secondly, they do not have adequate knowledge to supervise specialized welding techniques, which is very important. And third, they do not have, as Banerjee sir was telling, integrate. When there are complex, integrate the complex systems, a knowledge, a training, how to integrate them. So these areas, the gap of talent is very much present in our country. Now, I have worked with from the shipbuilding Goa. I have worked from the Cochin University of Science and Technology. And I have unfortunately not come across IMU as naval architect yet. I have not had the first as yet. We are very encouraged to tell you that IMU in Vizag has opened up Ship Technology Center for indigenous ship design. And of course, there is one more in Vizag, the Autonomous Shipbuilding Systems Center, Fishing Harbor, I think in your district somewhere. It is also opened this. And GRSE, not very far from here, has got a next generation VL lab. And that VL lab will be surprised because I had the opportunity to go and check that not only the 1:1 models, and it is giving 3 ship models. And it is acting as a, like Mr. Banerjee was saying, it is really that lab is acting as a digital twin because it is synchronizing real-time construction and design data, getting that data out, and that data is real-time being validated also in ship layouts and machinery layouts. Apart from that, also acting as a augmented reality integrator. That means the virtual models are being prepared and we can take it to the shop and superimpose them on the physical structure. It ensures that we cut down on your construction cycle time. It ensures that we also have efficient alignment and the safety of construction, and also is a constant approval of the design process, constantly happening. And the last but not the least, for the efficiency of the design, we can go walking virtually all the compartments in the ship. And that we can do with designer. And if there is a ship engineer, I say I'm a ship, I'm with the designer, and sometimes with the client, like from someone from Navy or from the Coast Guard, the client, he's the ship owner. He is there, and we are walking through the compartment. Now I tell you, problem. The problem is, I'm an engineer. If I am not a shipbuilding engineer, I'm only a marine engineer. Then I do not have the knowledge, understanding of the design process. And if it is a naval architect who knows how to design, he's walking through the compartment. He doesn't know because he has never gone for a ship trial or commissioning. So he doesn't know what interference happens with the pipelines, with the machinery layout. So we think, and we are facing this problem of having a shipbuilding engineer. Now I will define what is a shipbuilding engineer. And that is needed, really needed today. The shipbuilding engineer. I will just give 7 qualities. Number 1, the shipbuilding engineer to understand and advance CAD. Number 1. Number 2, he should be able to interpret that CAD and implement that CAD in it's all the cyber physical systems he should be aware of. Number 3, he should be able to do structural supervision with specialized welding as well as the smart pipe algorithm installation. Number 4, he should be able to do the machinery and equipment installation, have the knowledge of laser tools. Number 5, able to do the system integration, not only his mechanical systems, hydraulics and pneumatics, should be able to integrate the electronics, electrical, as well as hydraulic pneumatic systems on. And number 6, very, very qualified in doing quality checks and understanding quality. And last but not the least, commissioning of the machineries and all the trials, on-board trials. Also, he should have the knowledge of factory acceptance test, shop trials, and on-board trials, so the basin trials and contracted trials, and final machine and delivery. The problem is, we have faced, came to India from China, where in Pipava, long back in 2008, 13 I was in, when we delivered 4 Panamax frontline in North. We know that we can build the ships, but we can, because system integration not there within. And nowadays, we have to understand that we cannot go back 30 years and get the your 2-dimensional models and the panel drawings and implement that. Have to go model, otherwise will not be. That's all I have to say. What I can suggestion is in this module, I can have a marine converted to a shipbuilding engineer or a naval architect, got 4-year degree, a shipbuilding engineer. How? Just giving semester of actual industry academia participation. The problem is there are one new people. You always want new people to come and join the ship. I am getting a call from Cochin Udupi shipyard. They need so many. So, but we need shipbuilding engineers. You can have a naval architect, take in naval architect, take in marine engineer, going there. Or you can take mechanical engineer, but then give them 2 8 marks. That is 2 4 4 8 actual working experience in the yard. And that way, you can get shipbuilding engineers, and we should not neglect this. It's an opportunity for India really to take a place among the developed nations. Shipbuilding, one thing. Oh, building was large market. Take it away from real shipbuilding. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Last panelist, the Eswara Arun, Professor, IMU KC. He is a professor of marine engineering at IMU KC, former chief with 11 years of seafaring experience on chemical and product tankers. Mr. Kishore transitioned academia, research, and consulting in 2012. His current research integrates physics and data-driven transformer models to analyze LNG contained dynamics and seawater lubricated bearing systems. Professor Eswara Arun Kishore has led diverse defense and industrial projects, including developing a specialized testing rig for the DRDO Naval Science and Technological Laboratory. Recently, his groundbreaking work on turbulence and energy dissipation in LNG sloshing was published in the American Institute of Physics journal Physics of Fluids. A graduate of Marine Engineering and Research Institute, Kolkata, 2001, Mr. Kishore has filed multiple patents in maritime sensing and frequency, speaks on shipping digitalization, including at the National Center Russia in Moscow. Mr. Kishore has submitted his PhD synopsis, completing a multidisciplinary study spanning marine engineering, naval architecture, cryogenics, and data science. Please welcome Professor Eswara Arun.
We have discussed about the policy, then about the demand of the engineer, lawyer. I told you at the beginning, 19, the 2008, this is shortly that I told at the beginning only that we were doing maintenance job of the ships, but found that yes, we have to build ships. Now, in our society, so when you want to get our children married, want to a girl, so what do you expect from the girl? She should be like Devi Saraswati, in singing, in dancing, good in cooking, good in computers, good in everything. Okay. So this is what we want from IMU. So we want them be good in everything. Okay. So now what I'm doing to make the cadets good in everything in 4 years? Arun Kishore, tell us what they are doing to meet this diverse requirement in the industry.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you sir, for giving me the opportunity to speak at the last. The challenging topic I was given to talk about the transition of the erstwhile institution to Indian Maritime University and whether it's good, bad, or what. So I speak something like this. I joined this institution in 1997 when my fourth years for the last DMED batch. So I have been through the transition. I know a little bit, or even I'm still in touch with the fourth year seniors, which they are very instrumental in shaping me up. Not only on the ship before college, then on the ship, even afterwards also. They continue to motivate me till the date. So I speak with a very long-term view, not the short-term, where the immediate requirements are definitely operational, which Banerjee sir has spoken at length. But my talk right now would be for about a transition period as well as in the long-term view. Oh, the world is moving at a tremendous pace. We are moving into a very uncertain dimension. It will challenge the shipping. Shipping will be, it will be taken over by the asset management companies, and it will more often steel infrastructure, which will run the digital economy. That is what the ships will become ultimately. The horizon is not long. It is about, say, in 10 to 15 years, it will be shaping up this way. To begin with, there are companies which have invested heavily now into ship management companies. They are buying, acquiring the consultancy firms. So you will see that more and more. So let us do some justice to the topic which was given to me. If you, there is a famous quote by the Russian president. I would start it like this. That, he said, contemplating on this, those who miss Soviet doesn't have a heart, and then who wants it back doesn't have a brain. Exactly is the point. We can talk about the maritime education as well. And in the context of DMET, we can say this. Maybe somebody may get offended, but it is a hard fact. You can say that those who don't miss DMET doesn't have a heart, and who want to replicate it as it is doesn't have a brain. I'll tell you the reasons why it is so, because the world moved on. Now, this DMET system was not perfect, but the ecosystem was such that it has aligned very well with the industry requirement of the maritime life. You don't need a validation of this particular because you have a lot of people who have made. In fact, the today maritime industry in India is shaped by a large amount of the alumni. So you can say that it is validated. So what do we do now? Shall we abandon that system and then move ahead? There are some things which always have a positive, that any system will have positive, and also it will have some downsides to it. Now, the whole purpose is not the abandonment of the old idea. What we will have to do is we have to think over why it did so well, that system, what are its strengths, and in future we have to protect that particular strong points and we have to take it forward into the newer system. That is what I believe IME should be doing. So whenever we change, we should not abandon the complete past. We should always look at the particular strength, what it has. That is what my emphasize on. Now, why did I say this particular thing? Because you look at the points here. We have students who are joining, cadets. We have the faculty. We have the administration, which is IMU on DG shipping industry. And then we also have, the society, which plays very role. What happened then, actually, the generations which entered, they have very good qualities. should recall them. The generation then had longer attention spans. They had greater tolerance to discomfort. Okay? Then there was a delayed gratification. And then finally, they had a very strong human bonding. We all know how well they are connected. So these are some of the trends which were there. But now what is happening with the digital systems, both classrooms there, I'm a little bit against, but Eric sir will pardon me for taking the academic liberty. But these digital systems, they tend to fragment the attention. They don't try to increase the attention span. It is exactly opposite to what the ship's requirement is. Ship's requirement is that have a very long attention span. This is what I have seen throughout my career, though it is short, but I could do well to my abilities. And in fact, today I'm speaking before you is a miracle, because with the economic status that I came from, reaching this position is almost unthinkable, but this place has done it. So with that confidence, I'm telling you what is some of the essential qualities which I understood. I'm telling you. This instant gratification, this digitalization, what it does is, it is something instantly stimulating. We can see that short videos or even the slides and all, they're instantly stimulating. This has something on the, the human brain. We don't really understand what it is. But it has algorithmic distraction as well. Here, if we are playing slides and all, it is fine. But if you are showing the videos, I strongly advise not to do that. Then there is a reduced tolerance to sustained effort. That is one of the major distractions with the digital economy. These are some of the issues that I'm bringing. What Maritime as a profession will read and what it is. Now, coming to the students intake, what is happening in India? Most of the engineering education or anywhere is shaped by the coaching centers narrative. You go to this particular college to pick up this profession that is called intelligence, and this is the toughest thing. So slowly, it was actually the prestige which started misplaced. And then what happened? The core industry suffered. Not only shipping. I hear the same thing from the L&T people. I hear the same thing from all the infrastructure development as well as the designers as well. The prestige has shifted to something very strange, and we are at a crossroads where, with the prestige, what has happened? Talent also followed, like the Pied Piper. So once the prestige is diverted, the talent. That is one of the problem which Sir has been telling, that we don't see too many intelligent people coming into the profession. So there is some pressure with the peer pressure in society. Even the parents are actually misled to a direction. In fact, when I joined this particular campus, I came to know only through the IIT JEE exam. I never knew what this particular place was. Because I got a rank and it landed me here, I came, and then I started learning what is brain engineering. But way back in my state, there was a peer pressure on my family. It is not something very odd. In Andhra, if you don't go to, if you don't pursue computer science or electronics and don't go to US, you are a dumb fellow. That is what the notion is. Now, you can see the major chunk of the people are being played around in the society. And the same narrative can develop even now through social media. It is developing, it is there. It is misdirecting. So whatever we may discuss about syllabus structure and all, it will fail. Why? Because on board, what is that required? The judgment is required. We have to know, if we take this decision, what is the consequence that will come? And in that consequences, how to respond and how I take responsibility for my actions. If you sum it up, these are what the most essential thing. Knowledge component is there, experience component is there, those all things will come. But this exactly sums up what the marine jobs are, or any industry jobs are. But unfortunately, we much of this particular thing is intangible metric. We need quantitative data, not qualitative. Because to measure our training and all, we need quantitative. So what has happened, if you look at the universities all over, they move on to certain metrics, like say for students should have these many marks, exam scores, faculty should have these many publications, these citations, otherwise his research is impactless. Then you have universities also being rated by the number of students, the diversification, then the what you say inclusivity, then you say that how many courses you are running. These are all metrics, metric driven. So on one side we have a requirement, on the other side we are driven by metrics. Even ships have metrics. In this context, I would like to remind, actually there is a famous quote by Goodhart, an economist, told that if you set a measure as the objective, it ceases to be a good metric. So what has happened? We can say that we need faculty. Yes, definitely, but there are faculty. And then we set metrics. Earlier in the DMET setup, you had faculty who has a job just to teach and be with the cadets, mentor them. That's it. It was the simplest definition that was there, and people could do it. But now the faculty metrics are different. You will have to have number of publications, and then he has to have accreditation, then he will have to have KPI, API scores, then administrative performances, then a lot of other things are there, Then what we do is we try to manage the metrics and leave our the core essential function of bring the students, be with them, teach them, train them. So this is the new baggage. I'm talking about old thing. So this is the difference between the old and the new. Then society at large, I told you, it has been misdirecting. So we are not basically losing intelligence, but what we are doing is we are redirecting our prestige. In the larger picture, if you have to look at it. Also, when we look at the industry, in the universities all over the world, they follow something learned from the education technology, how to set the question papers, how to teach, how to do the lesson planning, how to evaluate, so many things. See, the irony, it was all done with the continued development in education technology based on certain understanding that the intelligence of a human being is like this. Then the main thing are like memorization. He has to have a pattern recognition abilities, then examination style of answering. And then also he should have something called fluency, recalling. That's it. That are the metrics. And also it follows that an intelligence is also recognized by the same metrics. That is what the education technology has taught. But way back in 2017, something interesting has happened. There was one paper, it is called "Attention is All What You Need." It was written by the Google DeepMind researchers, and one of them happened to be an Indian, Vaswani. So what it has generated the entire transformation that you are watching in the LLMs, large learning or large language models. This has totally changed the definition of intelligence. Universities have adopted the education technology based on certain understanding that this is the human intelligence, and this is how we can define the metrics. This paper completely teaches that particular definition, and it teaches something. Intelligence has a different meaning altogether. Why, I will tell you, because had we defined the metrics, now if we continue with the same baggage of understanding that this is the intelligence, I measure it by memorizing, by recalling the patterns, and then framing the answers, and then analyzing. If this is the metric called intelligence, machines are doing far better job than humans. They are outpacing humans. So then people started understanding, no, this is not the metric of intelligence, because humans will never accept something superior has come into the picture. So we say, no, the earlier definition was wrong. Now we have to understand what is intelligence. It requires a total different approach. So what is intelligence? There are gaps. And so what I'm trying to say is that the entire systems which have evolved in the universities, whether it is the measuring of abilities of the course or the people, right? All the metrics, they have to be readjusted. Otherwise, the universities will lose relevance not so long. Most of the universities you will see, they will be disappearing. most of the programs will be disappearing. Only handful of institutions will remain, provided they correct themselves. Even today is a slightly delayed response, I would say. They have to catch up. If they don't catch, most of the institutions will be possibly. I require a bit longer time span. The span is a little bit smaller, so I will summarize at this point of time without elaborating, because a lot of my arguments are based on certain circumstances and the actually the developments that we are watching in the real world and the interaction that I have with some of the changes. So the progress, I would like to summarize what sir has asked me to. I have to do justice. So whether DMT system and the IME system. So what I say that the progress is not abandonment of the old strengths. It is about preservation of what remains fundamentally true. DMT has made something fundamentally true contributions. We have to retain them. We have to protect them. So the solution is not returning to the past. And also the solution is rediscovering what maritime education was fundamentally trying to build. DMT system has something, was trying to build something. We have to reason what it is. Leaving a lot of noise, we have to separate and we have to just crystallize what it was trying to do and we have to bring it. So human beings, have to function with responsibility under very uncertain conditions. That is the need for an engineer or anyone on the ship. That is what I have seen. Because the criticality will tell that you will have to take the correct answer in the most demanding circumstances. Normally, anybody can work in a normal running ship, but the criticality that matters the most, which will tell whether the ship will be a news or history, is the action, prompt action by the few people, individuals. So that is what we should target. How it can be built, the capabilities we have to reason. It is not a simple science, because I told you that the entire world actually missed what is intelligence, until one person, gentleman, proves it, and then he starts building actual LLMs. Even now, even with the development, I'll tell you, there are many people who counter this particular argument, that they simply say that LLMs are not intelligence and what it is showing is not intelligence, but it is intelligence, I'm telling you. Because how do we define intelligence now? It has to be a broader something like this, that intelligence is an expectation. It could be good, bad, or something. Then we will say that this person has less intelligence, that fellow has more intelligence. So it is simply statistically, we can say that this is an expectation. That is how we have to look at it, the intelligence. I think based on that, there are many intangible metrics that are required to be a marine engineering, whether it is, I told you that whether it is the judgment, then endurance, very important, ability to take judgment, understand the consequences, and then take responsibility of it. These are some of the intangible things. We have to develop metrics for these intangible things. DME system did not do that intangible. Maybe they have something ingrained with the training curriculum, but it has to be understood properly. And we have to see what are these intangible human-like qualities which are essential. Only then the core sciences will, or the core branches will survive, and there will be much larger prosperity. That's what I would say, that we will have to correctly understand the kind of humans required for our maritime profession. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Professor Kishore. Panelists, managing. I will request Dr. Biswajit to say a few words about please.
Good evening, everyone. My respected dear caddies. Actually, when I was notified by Tamal Babu that there were some talk, panel discussions, I was thinking what to tell to you, right? Now, basically I'm a physicist from IIT Kharagpur, and I started my, talk with a simple story, the story from Mahabharata. If you look at the Mahabharata, Dronacharya has 105 students, 100 Kaurav, 105 Pandav, and 100 Kauravs. One day he gave an assignment that your assignment to hit the eye of a bird. So we fix up a bird in the tree, go and come out. When they come out, to ask the students one by one, what are you seeing? Someone is taking the tree, someone is seeing benches, something like that. And he called Urju. What are you seeing? To the eye. What is the significance? The significance is that thing that at Arjun was fixed up his mind and he targeted what the assignment was there. He was succeed in winning the Draupadi. Draupadi is something to win. Draupadi cannot be snatched. They mentioned Subhadra Haran at Draupadi Vijay. What to the assignment for Draupadi Vijay? There is a fish, a wheel is flowing, and in the shadow of the water you have to see and hit the eye of the fish. Arjuna was successful because he hit the that bird, eye of the bird. That's why in Bhagavad Gita it mentioned yoga karmashu gopalam. Concentration is a device for doing work. Whatever you want to do, you have to make a concentration. I support Mr. Banerjee's statement, what he has mentioned very correctly, that that we look our education system. Initially, there is a 3-tier education system. The first education system was up to primary education class 4. Then there is a secondary education up to class 11 or 12. Then there is a tertiary education. You go for a diploma, degree, or anything, professional degree, something like that. National Education Policy 20 has come out, and they give a 4th-tier education. The tier 1 up to class 5, tier 2 up to class 8, then tier 3 up to 11, then you go for professional. And in professional education, there is a 4 years program. But if you completed 1 year, you can get a certificate. If you completed 2 years, you get a diploma. If you completed 3 years, you get a degree. And 4 years, you can get an honors degree, and there should not be any postgraduate degree. What Mr. Banerjee suggested, I support his full view in marine engineering, particularly in marine engineering. You can think that after 2 years, you can get a diploma. And after this thing, you can think for a lateral entry for the mechanical engineer, the electrical engineer, and some of the those who are related to the marine systems. And more or less, what you have to see, you can think for the new education policy. If we adhere to the new education policy, we can modify mechanical engineering such that what Mr. Mukherjee has mentioned, that the shipbuilders, and I know that many industries are coming, they require type of things that you can go for some of the diversity. Like suppose I have many doctors, they become IS officer, IPS officer, something like that. So marine engineer can go to some other job also if they give a proper training. So we require a good teacher. Without a teacher, you cannot make a good student. And the student has to give a concentration that yoga karmoshu koshuna. We have a three axis, X, Y, Z, which you can measure with the, scale or a tape. But there is an axis called the time axis. And we physicists define the time axis in terms of a parameter called the ICT. I is root of -1, C is the velocity of light, and T is the time. If you multiply the velocity with time, you will get a dimension of length. So time is an imaginary length. Past is hazy and future is dark. But we are using the light for the remove the darkness of the future. We have to train the student. We have to encourage the young generation so that darkness for the future can be, overcome by new type of education system, such that everyone can integrate it and everyone can give a position. We are thanking you.
Thank you, sir, for your insights, the marine industry and how the engineers can benefit the long term. Now, I request Rear Admiral Amit Bose, sir, please.
Shri Vikrant Rai, sir, MMD, the B. Ghosh, sir, President IMEI, distinguished guests from the marine fraternity, and dear students. I am at a little oxymoron kind of a situation. I have the least experience in IMU, and I have to speak about IMU. Spent about 2.5 years. Some of the students have got more experience in IMU than I have. So that being said, I have been trained in the Navy. I have served on board the Indian Navy, Merchant Navy. As far as maintenance and operation, not radically different. Maybe the Indian Navy is a little more complex. I was just reading a book by Mustafa Sulaiman called Coming Wave. Mustafa Sulaiman is one of the developers of DeepMind, which Professor Arun Kishore just mentioned about. And it is stated that any technology, you start right from the days of the use of stone tools, fire, wheel, steam, electricity, engines, computers, or rather I will come to valves, semiconductors, computers, and today's 5G communication and AI. It has proliferated faster and faster. And people have adapted to it that much. So we cannot deny the adoption of technology. We cannot no longer rely that no, old was good, new has to be the order of the day. People have to adopt. Yes, what is happening is during our days, you all know, most of us would recall, we spent time in reading books. We spent time in libraries because information was not available. Today, this piece of device gives you everything. The watch, calculator, it's a computer, it's a source of information. And now with AI and ChatGPT, you don't have to bother, just have to do prompt engineering, just give the right prompts. So, for the span of attention using, and of course, flip side is that you have a secondary industry, which is the social media, these reels and shorts and things like that, which are captivating, which are making you lose your focus on a particular topic. That is the area that we, and this is where I think as IMU, what we are lacking, possibly a faculty of marine engineering are lesser by the day, and what can definitely come in is inputs in terms of practical challenges that the marine faces board. They can come in and the remedies. Students will know that today's situation, ships are faced. They will learn thermodynamics, they will learn heat transfer, they will learn AI, they will learn Python. They are all required. No subject is important today. With the advent of AI, with the advent of automation, digitalization, and these are topics which are getting focused across the maritime subjects are required. But what is not coming back to training institutions is what are the challenges that you're, what are the challenges current engineers are possibly facing? And how did you go about rectifying those? Those are live examples which will immediately catch the attention. That is what say this are used practicals. We really cannot give that kind of experience to each and everybody. Firstly, the batch side is too. This campus was designed for a much lesser capacity of students. We have gone possibly 200 to 50 times that capacity infrastructure. Lab equipment, we can only train a certain number of people. Yes, there are students who put in extra efforts. They have overall valves. They are presently involved in revitalizing the boiler that we are trying to revitalize. Swimming pool valves, they have refurbished. They have refurbished suction pumps and so on. But these are the students count on your finger. So we need to provide such challenges. How do you provide the challenge? Give them real life examples of what is expected out of you once you go on board. That is where I will request to marine engineers and your counterparts possibly back your real life anecdotes, real life situations that you have faced, because they hold direct relevance to. And I counter what he says, say that picture is sometimes more powerful than video 10,000 times. Our time had to struggle to have got a get a blown up drawing of that particular engine available. Okay. But what we need is a little bit of practical experience. Certainly, both are important. I wouldn't say theory is more important than or practical is more important than theory. I'll give you a simple example of what we faced on board ships. There's the anchor which operated on the ship. Complaint is not operating on speed. Even if you put not operating and getting hot, then the brakes are anchor brakes are not descending. What do? You have to find out why the brake is not operating. Brake is a 24-volt operated electromagnetic, has to be. This is not getting it. Find out that the block bridge rectifier is defective, blown away. But you don't have that. You have diodes lying somewhere else. Can you use diodes? What is the orientation of the diode? Which is the point where you will connect the point from where you will take. And this has happened because there are instances similar like this where a person has collected the diode the opposite way. Instead of acting as a switch, what was full circuit? That's where theory comes. Practical is equally important. An example, the shipbuilding exercise that we have talked about. Sir mentioned INS Vikrant made by CSL. Initially, there were fire main pipelines running right on top of switchboard. Switchboards are, I think, 6.6 kV, 3 megawatt generators. There are about 2 generators, and you have one leakage of a seawater pipeline, the potential fire. Okay. On an aircraft carrier, you cannot afford. That's where shipbuilding is required. Fully subscribe to your views, sir. Very aptly brought out. Need to translate naval architects or marine or mechanical into shipbuilders, system engineering, system integration. very important. Unless you understand that, one is faced with a lot of problems. With digitalization, earlier we had valves or gears operated through mechanical linkage, hydraulic system, pneumatic system. Today it is electronically operated. Unless you know how the controller works, whether the signal is reaching there or not, and these are not individual signals, they are transmitted as zeros and ones, a sequence. You can't even monitor it on an oscilloscope. There are special devices, logic analyzers, which are required to monitor these, and therefore practical. That's all that I have to say. I think we need both, not any one.
Thank you, sir, for your insights, the practical application of marine engineering and how people coming and letting cadets know exactly what. Now I invite Principal Officer ID say a few words.
आदरणीय बोस सर, प्रोफेसर सर, ऑडियंस, मैं कुछ प्रिपेयर करके आया नहीं, मैंने सोचा अपने मन की बात करूंगा। जो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है, मेरी कुछ नॉलेज नहीं है बहुत बड़ी, ऑर्डिनरी का एक मैकेनिक मरीन इंजीनियर हूँ, बट मैं कुछ खास बातें अपनी एक्सपीरियंस की कहूँगा। जब मैं पास आउट हुआ DMIT से, mechanical engineer and electrical engineers from other engineering colleges were performed equally well as a marine engineer from DMIT. So DMIT never produced something extra. First thing, मैं यहाँ पे कहना चाहूँगा कि मैं DMIT प्रोफेसर सबको लेकर मैं कुछ नेगेटिव बात कहूँगा, पॉजिटिव नहीं कहूँगा। इवन MMD को लेकर मैं कुछ मत मान। मिस्टर बनर्जी ने कहा कि practical experience. I remember I boarded a vessel in 1992 as a young fifth engineer. There were 3 all engine fitters. There was a survey of crosshead. The chief engineer said, "Bosun, how many hours?" There 200 hours overtime. They opened 3 crosshead. Chief engineer was never down. Second engineer was standing like an oiler. That was the old DMIT, not new DMIT. Second, another second engineer, bilge pump was not taking action. He told me, I will open the pump, तेल पानी साफ करूंगा, वो अपने आप suction लेगा. Another chief engineer joined. He was juggling with the walls and watching the parameters on the gauges and asking to open this filter and that filter and taking suction. Now, you tell me who is more knowledgeable, practical engineer or a man with a theoretical knowledge who know how to read the gauges and do the maintenance. Now, Mr. Banerjee said I should be able to take the liner reading. Can you tell me any engineer whom you can give experience of owning all the elements of all the practical, all the machinery on board the ship during his career? Never. What you have to give is it knowledge of assessing how to go about doing practical jobs, and a knowledge of engineering drawing and basic physics, chemistry, maths, or what you call thermodynamics, strength of materials and mechanics of machines knowledge. Nothing else. You cannot teach him everything to go individually. Now, next thing. In 2000, what happened? My batchmate was sailing in Great Eastern Shipping Company. सर बोल रहे हैं कि हम लोग ऐसा करते थे, वैसा करते थे. उससे बोला गया अपना फिटर हटा दो. तो फिटर हटा के उसको पंगु कर दिया. Now, Indians are very good analytically, and you know better than me, they're not very good practically. उसको हटा के आपने पंगु कर दिया. और उसको वहां पे नॉलेज फिटर को हटा दिया, वेल्डर दे दिया उसको. What he will do? The job you are making tougher for him, you are making not likable for him, and then you are telling that Indians have become bad. You played into the hands of Ukrainian. यूक्रेनियन क्या होता है, तोड़ फोड़ के सब प्रैक्टिकली सही होता है, बट पहले सब तोड़. I've learned from now you are telling that you go on my ship, old ship, and do all the maintenance. Why should I do? That was the old theory which has gone long back. You don't maintain your ship and ask a young engineer to work 15 hours and maintain his ship. Why? Why he should do now? अभी आप आज मेरे को कह रहे हो कि वो ये नहीं जानता वो नहीं जानता. I just asked a question to a candidate outside. What is the unit of pressure? He told me kg per meter cube. In class for engineers, I asked this question, what is the unit of pressure? Some say Newton meter, some say Newton per meter, some say Pascal. Then I asked them, what is the unit of stress? Then they say Pascal. Somebody can say Pascal. Otherwise, there are people who say Newton meter and Newton per meter. So what I'm trying to say, you have made this job a job which is not preferred. So that पहले 90% सिक्के PCM वाले आते थे, धीरे 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 कम होते जा रहे हैं. I left Roorkee and joined. Many of my batchmates left IIT and joined here. But how many are there now? The shipping is analytical, practicals come later, according to my experience. And आप कहते हो शिपिंग में डिप्लोमा होल्डर निकालो. क्यों भाई मैं डिप्लोमा होल्डर निकालूं? मेरा राइट नहीं है कि मैं आगे चलकर दूसरा कैरियर पकड़ूं या मैं उसी शिपिंग कंपनी की गुलामी करूं. क्यों? The candidates here should be able to work anywhere ना. Why you are only saying कि मैं उसकी गुलामी करूं शिपिंग कंपनी की और उसके लिए हैमर बजाता रहूं? You should be trained to operate anywhere. Lastly, I have a problem with you people, sir. आप कभी STCW पढ़ते ही नहीं हो, सिर्फ फंडा देते हो. Are you aware that you can appear for chief engineer ticket with second class? How many of you have written to DG shipping कि मेरे को second class के साथ chief engineer ticket देते allow करो? When I was sailing, when I was working in DMET, 5 साल में chief engineer बनते थे. सर आप बने होंगे 5 साल में, मैं 10 साल में बना, अभी 20 साल में भी नहीं बन रहे. आपने तो ऐसा कैरियर बना दिया इसको एज ए कि बहुत आपको साइंटिस्ट चाहिए. आप STCW पढ़ते नहीं हो, गवर्नमेंट से लड़ाई करते नहीं हो और सिर्फ यहाँ पे सेमिनार करते हो. Why you are not writing to government of India कि आप सेकंड क्लास के साथ चीफ इंजीनियर अलाउ करो? By the time he completes his chief engineer time, he should be eligible to get the ticket by passing the exam. It is in the STCW convention. यही मैं सब कहना चाहूंगा और मैं ये बोलूंगा एनालिटिकल स्किल्स को कोई रिप्लेस नहीं कर सकता. You can make a glorified fitter, but you someday he will be catch hold of a problem which will be a disaster unless he has got analytical skills. In fact, I will say don't pass people from first year if they are not good in analytical skills. A certain minimum amount of analysis they should be knowing how to do. Physics, chemistry, maths की knowledge के बगैर मेरी assessment में it is not going to happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your analysis. And I'd like to ask Cadet Priyanshu. Thanks.
Guests of honor, Shri Vikrant Rai sir, full operator, entire Marine Department, Rear Admiral Amit, Bose, retired, Director of the Indian Maritime University, Kolkata, Dr. Viswajit Ghosh sir, ex-Vice Chancellor of the University, distinguished panelists, Amitava Banerjee of India, Mr. Asit Banerjee sir, Senior Consultant at Genco, Mr. Eswara Kishore, Associate Professor, Indian Maritime University, Mr. Tamal Mukherjee sir, Director, Retd Marine Service Private Limited, Mr. Debayan Ghosh sir, Chief Engineer, the IMEI members, seniors and fellow cadets. On behalf of the Institute of Marine Engineers Kolkata branch, my heartfelt thanks to our guest of honor and all panelists for their insightful contribution to today's discussion on marine engineering education and training, current status and need of the industry. My special thanks to my batchmates and juniors of the Indian Maritime University for their active presence and for helping make this program a success. The IMEI also appreciate the IMEI Kolkata campus for hosting this event and the organizing committee, volunteers, and technical team for their excellent arrangement. Thank you all, the members and attendees, for your participation. IMEI Kolkata branch will circulate the key takeaways and pursue follow-up actions. And sirs, we value and welcome your continued input. Once again, thank you all.
May I please ask everybody to rise for national anthem? Gana Gana Mana Adhinayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Nab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravina Uttal Bang Sindh Himachal Yamuna Ganga Uchtal Jal Chitarang तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे आहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Serving refreshment here, and we have skipped a part of the program, that discussion, open discussion. So because of the shortage of time, I request our guests and the panelists to be on the room, next room there. If anybody is interested to ask them question, so please come there and you can ask them question. Okay. So our panelists and the guests will be there in the next room, and for refreshment, if anybody wants to ask any question, any clarification, please come there. They will be there. They will be happy. I thought they will be happy to clarification. Thank you.